Guys, there are spoilers for this film in this review. So if you don't want a price on your head, go watch film, then come back. You have been warned. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan HD, and this week we watched Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu, directed by Jon Favreau, and written by Jon Favreau, written by some dude named Kyle, I think, and Dave Filoni, starring Pedro Pascal and whomever. Pedro Pascal's the most important. And it was the first Star Wars movie in how long since Episode 9? It was whatever. I mean, it certainly existed. It was certainly a movie that exists, and I'll probably forget about it in the next couple weeks. But it was fine, I guess. But before I go on a whole tangent, why I thought this film was whatever, I'll tell you why and more back to house. Guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan HD, and this week we watched Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu, the newest Star Wars film, the first theatrical Star Wars film in 7 years. It is a sci-fi action adventure film, directed by Jon Favreau, written by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Noah Kluwer. This film is starring Pedro Pascal and also featuring appearances from Sigourney Weaver and Martin Scorsese, who was full of energy. Unlike Sigourney Weaver, who was sleeping through most of her lines, which I don't even really blame her, honestly. Either way, I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I guess it was better than Episode 9, but that's not a very high bar. I think this movie, in general, is just like, it just feels like a half-baked season of The Mandalorian, you know? And I think, like, it just, like, I read that this was originally going to be season 4 of The Mandalorian, but, like, when they were planning it, Dave Filoni just went, you know what? How about we make it a movie? And why? Money, probably. That's probably why they were like, let's make it a movie. But it, as I said, it doesn't really feel like a movie. It doesn't look like a Star Wars movie. It doesn't have the spectacle of a Star Wars movie. You can say whatever you want about all the shitty Star Wars movies, right? At least they felt like they had a bit of spectacle to them, right? Like, even Episode 9, which people say is the worst film in the entire franchise, that movie had some spectacle to it. Like, there was, like, some big shit going on. Was that shit good? Up to you, right? But there was some, like, major shit going on. In this, like, he fights some droids in a building. He fights in a coliseum, a small one, like an arena. He doesn't really have any major space battles. He kills, like, some lower ranking, like, Imperial, like, drifters after the Empire fell, who are, like, trying to revive it, but also not really, because the movie kind of makes you think it's about fighting the Empire for the first half, and then the second half is like, no, we're fighting the Hutts now. Like, the second half just kind of like, he just went on a side quest with the Empire in the first half, and the second half he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna kill these Hutts, because fuck them guys. Fuck those guys. I mean, obviously there's reasons, but I mean, I just feel like there are points in the movie you can be like, oh yeah, that's where the episode ended, right? You know, there's points in the movie where it just feels like it just literally, it should have just been a TV show. Like, maybe even, like, in segmented parts, this could have been dumb fun, right? But since you're sitting there for 2 hours watching this movie just kind of meander for a little while and just, like, it just feels so low stakes, because again, nothing really happens. I liked Rada the Hutt, but I don't think he was in the movie for as long as he perhaps should have been, right? I like Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt. I mean, Pedro Pascal's great, as always. But as I said, he doesn't really have much to do in this movie. Like, there is no character arc with Mando. There is no, like, big emotional, like, moment or hook or anything. It's, at the end of the movie, it just kind of goes right back to the status quo. Like a TV show, right? It kind of just ends like a TV episode would. Like, it doesn't feel climactic or conclusive, really. It just feels like on to the next adventure, right? Which is not, I mean, sure, like in other Star Wars movies, there are like cliffhangers, right, that lead into the next one, right? Sure, but I don't think they're gonna make the Mandalorian and Grogu Part 2, more Rot of the Hutt, right? They're not gonna make another one of these. I mean, I guess if it makes money, maybe, but even then, this is like a side quest, and I don't even know why they released it theatrically, because it's like maybe they were like, oh, we want to do Mandalorian, but with a bigger budget. Like, what would the Mandalorian look like with a movie budget? And not much different. It just looks like how... I mean, granted, the show looks good, right? But it doesn't look different from the show. Like, it's shot like a TV show. It's not shot like a movie. It just, as I said, it doesn't have the oomph that a Star Wars movie should have. It doesn't have that cinematic feel. It's just casual. I mean, the soundtrack is great, in my opinion. I really like all the remixes. I think that I believe Ludwig was the name of the composer. I'm sorry if I misremembered that, but I believe he did a great job with the soundtrack. I think that's probably one of the highlights of the movie was the soundtrack. A lot of people are talking about that. I think some of the costumes are good. I like the puppets, like the little Babu Freak puppets. I like Grogu is a good puppet, and animatronic as always. He looks pretty good. Some of the creatures are neat, right? There's like this weird like water snake thing, like giant snake thing that like tries to kill the Mandalorian, and it looks pretty freaky, I guess. It looks cool, looks kind of like gross, you know, a bit like a horror movie monster a little bit. Some of the fights are dumb fun if you turn your brain off. There's a scene where they have, like, you know, like the digital chess. They have, like, those monsters in digital chess, but they're real, and they're, like some of them recreate the moves in digital chess, which is a bit of fan service. I mean, this movie's a fan service machine, right? Like, you have Rada the Hutt in there, who, I mean, I guess isn't that much of fan service. I mean, it still is, but, I mean, he wasn't really a character in the Clone Wars movie, because he was a baby, and you can't really give that many character traits to just like a tiny little baby, so they gave him character traits, and, you know, I guess it's not like just taking one character and putting him in there. They actually had to do something with him and make him, like, creatively put him in the plot and have him have a place there. But Embo is here, if you know who that is. He was a bounty hunter in Clone Wars, and he was cool in Clone Wars, so they're like, we gotta get the Glup Shittos in there, you know what I mean? You gotta get all the cool, like, random characters from, like, older stuff where the hardcore fans will be like, oh, I recognize that character. He was cool, right, for the few scenes that he was in, but as other people have said, I mean, it could literally have been any other bounty hunter, and it wouldn't have changed anything, right? Like, he was just there, basically, in a Boba Fett role, to look cool, right? To look cool, and to have, like, hardcore fans go, oh my god, basically, is essentially why he was there. I mean, I get, which isn't a problem, I guess, at a surface level. It's just like, that's fine for a TV show, right? To have, like, all these cameos and stuff, but for a movie, we should have more effort in there, right? Like, we should put more effort into these kind of things. I don't know. I also just feel like, I don't know. After I watched it, I don't know. I just don't know even what to say, really. Like, that's kind of what other people are saying. Like, they don't know what to say. It's just so average to the point where it just kind of, like, takes the movie down for me. Because when you watch a Star Wars movie, you expect more. I didn't even go in with high expectations. And I'm not going to say, like, it disappointed me. Because what I expected is what I got. I still feel like, though, a lot of it felt weird. Like, at the beginning of the movie, you had a cold open where he was like doing some bounty hunting, right, hunting some Imperial scumbag, right, and he killed him. And then he goes to the Republic, like the Sigourney Weaver character, who like is she's with the Republic, the New Republic, and she's like hiring Mando to do these things, right? And Zeb from Star Wars Rebels is there for no reason. Like, he doesn't do anything. He just like tags along for a little bit. And then he disappears for like 60% of the movie. Maybe even like for a majority of the movie he disappears, and then at the very end he comes back up again. He's like, "Hi, I'm here." Like, forget about me. I was in this movie, right? Well, essentially what I'm trying to get at is this is nostalgia of the movie. So here's one thing. This is like away from fan service stuff. This is something I just wanted to point out, which I thought made no sense whatsoever. So the Republic, like the rebels, right? They are like trying to get all the information on all the like the Imperial like, you know, runaways that are trying to restart the Empire and like take over the galaxy again, right? Like those guys. They were hunting those guys and they want information on where to find those guys so that they could wipe them out. Makes sense, right? Obviously they want to take out the, you know, the guys who are still left so that like an Empire couldn't come back. However, they're like, you know who we're gonna trust with our confidential information? The Hutts. And it's like, wasn't the last time with the rebels interacted with the Hutts was them murdering Jabba the Hutt after he tried to kill all of them? After they tried to make a deal with the Hutts before and it didn't go good. They literally all almost died because they thought that they could make a deal with the Hutts, but the Hutts are treacherous. But now they're trying to make deals with the Hutts again after they killed Jabba and his like siblings took over. But then like, so there's like a really like, the dialogue is really weird in this movie sometimes. Like at the beginning of the movie with the Empire, there were dudes who were straight up like, there was a guy so Mandalorian was on this like AT-RT or whatever it's called, like from Clone Wars, from the prequels. And he was like going underneath the AT-ATs in the opening to like avoid them because he was smaller and more nimble. And the like nameless Imperial that he kills at the beginning of the movie, he went, "Well, you missed him. He went under the AT-AT." And the pilots are going, "Yeah, no shit, dumbass. I'm looking at him right now. Like, you don't need to state the obvious." And then in the other AT-AT, he had like he was like breaching it and about to like he planted a bomb or something. But then the guy, not even like trying to get out or like, I don't know, doing anything of urgency. He was like staring at the camera, like the Zoom call that they were in, like in the other AT-AT. He was going, "He's breaching the wall right now." He's breaching. It's just the weirdest dialogue ever. Them just like, it was just really weird to me, and it got a laugh out of me. But either way, back on topic. So, but here's the thing, they trust the Hutts, but there's the weird expository dialogue when Mando goes into, like, the Hutt's lair with Grogu, where he says, you know, even though we were invited guests, we're not safe. The Hutts are treacherous. We can't trust them. Well, if they're treacherous, and you're not even safe, if you're an invited guest, then why the fuck would you trust them with anything? Why would you make a deal with these people if even if you're invited to their abode, they will kill you anyway? How are these people you trust with your information that they're going to feed to the Empire anyway because they tried to kill you before? They're a mafia. They're a crime family. Why would the rebels trust these people? Just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I really don't think I am. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. Either way, I just wanted to rant about that for a little bit. But that's kind of the most emotion I felt about the film, was like, why the fuck would they trust the Hutts to begin with? You know what I mean? And I guess that's about it. You know, I don't really think I have much else to say. I think the film was just whatever. It wasn't a disaster but it wasn't an amazing movie. Hell, I wouldn't even really say it was that fun. As I said, if it was like a TV show, like a season, maybe I could have gotten some dumb fun out of it being segmented, but it wasn't. So I feel like it was just kind of a slog to get through at some point. Well, I did like some of the practical effects. I did like, I do think, though, the, like, cute Grogu moments got a little irritating, because it's like, come on, it's 2026. Like, it doesn't hit the same. We've had 3 seasons of this shit, right? Like, it's not 2021 anymore, where Baby Yoda was, like, a fucking international sensation. He ain't that anymore. Right? People still like him, but it's, like, he's not fresh anymore. We know what he does. He's cute. He jumps on the bed and he eats things, right? Like, we get that he's cute, okay? You don't need to keep hammering that in. Either way, just a little nitpick. Either way, I'm just gonna get to conclusions here. Would I recommend this movie? No, not really. Even if you're, like, a fan of The Mandalorian, maybe just, like, wait for it to get on Disney+. I don't really think it'll be that different from watching it in the theater, honestly. The theater experience isn't that special. It's not like there's, like, great sound design or, like, great whatever that, like, is really immersive. It's just whatever. Like, I think this is a skip, right? If you're, like, going through, unless you, like, really were dedicated, you're like, no, I need to watch every Star Wars movie ever made. Unless you're that dedicated, this is a skip, right? Either way, you may ask, after all that ranting, what would I rate this film? Well, I think I would rate this film a 5.5 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I've something to say. I think I've something to piece. So, guys, I hope you like this video. Share it with friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say. If you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike it, tell me how much you hate me in the comments. And I've been RTBHD, off to collect a bounty. You know, I think it's ridiculous. Not even ridiculous. I think it's just crazy how, like, you can just say these days, oh yeah, a Star Wars movie just came out. Like, this shit used to be, like, an event, right? Like, when a Star Wars movie came out, people were like, dude, a fucking Star Wars movie's coming out this year. I gotta fucking see it. Like, back in 1999, people were buying tickets to movies just so that they could see the trailer for episode 1, and then they would leave, right? Like, fuck that movie, fuck that ticket. I'm just here for Star Wars, right? They don't give a shit about that movie. Now we're just like, oh yeah, Star Wars, whatever.